when you talk about the larger concept of aging in community, which is really sort of where the village model comes in. Okay, I can remain in my home because my home is accessible enough for me to do my self-care, but I might have to call on my neighbor or my village to find somebody to walk my dog or mow my grass or help me with transportation to the grocery store. So that's the larger living in community aspect of it, which is again where village comes into play. So instead of it just being an informal living in community, it's a more formalized. I know that this geographic area or this condo has a village model. So I could reach out to somebody, or depending on how it's run, volunteer with staff. I could reach out to you if you are sort of the contact person for the village and say, Kiera, I'm going to be going away or I'm going to go visit my kids. I need somebody to watch my house. And you would have those resources readily available, or somebody within the village that's sort of known to you would have that information that you could reach out to. So it's sort of putting the resources all together.
One of the things I discovered in talking to the villages and to the area agencies on aging is that the pandemic really exposed in a positive way, the value of villages, because a lot of AAAs, they fund providers, and those providers are such that people come to them. And during the pandemic, villages went to the people. And a word that got used over and over again is that villages are hyper local. So they know, not that they know everybody in their communities, but on a whole, they more commonly know the people who live in their communities and could reach out. So each village uniquely meets the evolving needs of older adults in their communities, but all villages share a common trait. They are cost-effective models, and they serve as an entry level into the continuum of care in their community. So yes, they're all different, but they have the same value proposition in terms of being cost-effective ways to serve people.
So it's making those contacts and saying, hey, you have any patients that, live in these service areas that we help, and do they need rides here? It's reaching out to becoming friendly with hospital COOs and administrators, so that they know we're here, because once their patients are discharged, and their social workers can only go so far into helping those who have been discharged, and we want them to know, we know about the 30-day rehospitalization. If a person is rehospitalized within 30 days, the hospitals get fined. So they don't want that. So we become kind of cost effective to them. And so it's, reaching out to them and saying, hey, look, this is what we can do for your patients that are discharged. I think over the last few years, we've begun to realize there are a lot of caregivers out there. They're caring for their aging parent, their aging spouse, and they just don't know where to turn. They need a break. We have to offer them a little time to get away and send somebody into the home to stay with their loved one, so that they can get to an appointment or get grocery shopping done or just go for a walk. So needs are changing.
The village model is one way, not the only way. It's one part of a new system to support people who have different needs than their predecessors, right? And that's partly what we need to change. I'm interested in it at a sort of macro level, and then we need things at a hyper local level, like villages and more, to create those sort of trusted hyper local networks of people and advisors to support people and help them live the way they want to live, as long as they want to live.
This is like the next step in how we create aging systems, right? And so we should, this should be a piece of how our society supports our aging networks, of course. But
when I started in my passion for changing the culture of aging, I didn't have gray hair. And I was a lot younger. And I had hoped when it came to nursing homes that this change would happen. We wouldn't have institutional nursing homes anymore by the time I needed it. So let's say, you know, if I'm lucky, I don't need it for 20 years. Let's say I'm 66, so 86, but maybe it's younger. Maybe there'll be enough of these new models out there of long-term care for me, but I do know, but there will be a village for me because I live in the area where this village is happening. I have a vested interest too in Neighbors Network being around when I am ready to become a member.